So let me get egotistical for a second. I'm an expert on many things in entertainment and sports, but something I think I'm the best expert in Canada on is the Brat Pack. I saw pretty well every movie that the key group and every affiliated member did between 1983 into the 90s, even the 2000s. And I can say to you that this was the greatest group of young actors and performers since the James Dean era, to include Paul Newman, Natalie Wood, Robert Wagner, and all that. And they created the VHS generation. They created what do you call clothing trends and hair trends and all kind of different stuff. They weren't really the girls in the group were not that nice looking, but the men were gorgeous. So it drew a lot of gay people and bisexual people and non-binary and what you call fluid, whatever, because they're easy to look at. Now, the only person I know in my group, he's now dead. We used to go to movies together at the Paramount in Campbellton, and even he said there's got to be a name for this group, and again, that's what happened. The Brat Pack, again, is a nickname given to a group of young actors of the mid 1980s, not Christian Slater or Winona Ryder, that's a little bit later on, who frequently appeared together in teen-oriented coming-of-age films in the 1980s. The term Brat Pack was a play on the Rat Pack of Frank Sinatra fame from the 50s and 60s, was first popularized in the 85 New York Magazine cover story, which described a group of highly successful film stars in the early 20s. David Bloom wrote the article after witnessing several young actors being mobbed by groupies at LA's Hard Rock Cafe. The group has been characterized by the partying of members such as Robert Downey Jr., Emilio Estevez, Rob Lowe, and Judd Nelson. And yes, ladies and gentlemen, there was a time Robert Downey Jr. was looking at heavy jail time for drug and other offenses. He will win an Oscar probably for Oppenheimer very soon. Now, in the appearance in one or both of the ensemble casts of two specific films released in 1985, John Hughes' The Breakfast Club and Joel Schumacher's St. Elmo's Fire is often considered a prerequisite for being a core Brat Pack member. With this criterion, the most commonly cited members include Emilio Estevez, Anthony Michael Hall, Rob Lowe, Andrew McCarthy, Demi Moore of GH fame before, Judd Nelson, Molly Ringwald, who did a lot of TV movies before that, and of course was in 16 Candles, and of course Ali Sheedy. Now, absent from most lists is Mayor Whittingham, the only principal member of either cast who never starred in any other films with any other cast members. Estevez was cited as the unofficial president of the Brat Pack, and he and Demi Moore were once engaged. In 1999, McCarthy said he was never a member of the group. The media made up this sort of tribe. I don't think I've seen any of these people since we finished St. Elmo's Fire. Well, probably he hasn't, but he doesn't want to admit it. He's always been a strange cat. Now, the initial New York article covered a group of actors larger and more inclusive than the currently understood meaning of the term Brat Pack. For example, he mentions cast members of TAPS, including Tom Cruise and Timothy Hutton, and of course, Sean and Christopher Penn were also part of it. Now, Charlie Sheen appears in several lists, more for his family relationship with Emilio Estevez, and he's partying dead for film work with other members, even though he was with Jennifer Grey and, Ferris Bueller. Now, James Spader, Robert Downey Jr. have always been considered members because of Less Than Zero, and performed alongside with other Brat Packers. Both of them were, again, Andrew McCarthy in Less Than Zero. Spader with McCarthy in Mannequin and Pretty in Pink, with Lowe and Bad Influence, and with Ringwald and Pretty in Pink. And Downey with Anthony Michael Hall, Weird Silence, and Johnny Be Good, and the cast of Saturday Night Live, and with Molly Ringwald, the pickup artist. Other actors who have been linked with the group include Kevin Bacon, Eric Stoltz, Matthew Broderick, John Cryer, John Cusack, Matt Dillon, Joan Cusack, Nicolas Cage, Jamie Gertz, Mary Stuart Masterson, Sean Penn, Ralph Macchio, Kiefer Sutherland, and Leah Thompson. In her autobiography, Melissa Gilbert connects herself to the Brat Pack of Little House in the Prairie fame, as her social life centered on Estevez and Lowe, each of whom she was engaged to at different times. And this was around the Rob Lowe sex tape. Yes, he had a sex tape. Through frequent collaborative work, the actor Harry Dean Stanton is considered the grandfather of the group. Now, he also became a mentor for the group of young actors, and Red Dawn, too, as well as another movie. And Patrick Swayze, of course, kind of the older uncle. Now, Bloom's New York story, titled Hollywood Brat Pack, ran on June 10th, 1985. This was the summer of the Brat Pack era. It was originally supposed to just be about Emilio Estevez, but one night Estevez invited Bloom to hang out with him, as well as Rob Lowe, Judd Nelson, and others at Hard Rock Cafe. It was a typical night out for the group, who had gotten close while filming St. Elmo's Fire. That night, Bloom decided to change the article's focus to an entire group of young actors at the time. The St. Elmo's Fire crew members did not like Bloom and sensed he was jealous of the actor's success. Now, when the piece ran, the actors all felt betrayed, especially Estevez. The article mentioned people in several films, but focused on Estevez, Lowe, and Nelson, and portrayed these three negatively. The Brat Pack label, which the actors disliked, stuck for years afterwards. Before the article ran, they had been regarded as talented individuals. After the article, all of them were grouped together and regarded as unprofessional. In the media, yes, but not with the fans, no, because the fans wanted to give them a name. They didn't know what to call them because everybody that he saw on the screen was kind of, I see this person or whatever. Now, interviewed for Susanna Gora's 2000 book, You Couldn't Ignore Me If You Tried, The Brat Pack, John Hughes and Their Impact on a Generation, Bloom admitted that he should have not written the article. I think that's bullshit. Anybody that says you're not going to write an article on a trend. Now, with the increased negative attention to them, the actors stopped socializing with another. On the group's camaraderie, Ali Sheedy later said the article just destroyed it. I had felt truly a part of something, and that guy just blew it to pieces. Now, during the late 80s, several of the Brat Pack actors had their careers mildly derailed by problems relating to drugs, alcohol, and in Lowe's case, a sex tape. According to Suzanne Gora, many believed he could have gone into more serious roles if not for that article. They were talented, but he had professional difficulties, personal difficulties after that. By the 21st century, the term Brat Pack had lost its negative connotation. It's more talking about an era, like, talking about the rock and roll generation. Now, Andie MacDowell is another one that's borderline. She was in a few movies, or she was the most prominent because she was Amelia Estevez's crush in St. Elmo's Fire. And Janine Turner, Demi Moore's co-star, and John Stamos too. And you might as well say Rick Springfield. So it's all first or second cousins of the Brat Pack. You go Jack Wagner. You can go on forever. Now, the films themselves have been described as representative of a socially apathetic, cynical, money-possessed, and ideologically barren 80s generation. We were never barren. This was just popcorn movies. And I saw every Brat Pack movie back in the day, even like lower lesson ones like Fandango. They made frequent use of adolescent archetypes, were often set in suburbs surrounding Chicago, and focused on middle-class teenage angst. According to author Susanna Gora, these films changed the way many young people looked at everything from class distinction to friendship, from love to sex, and fashion to music. They are considered among the most influential pop cultural contributions of our time. Bigger at one point than Madonna and David Bowie and Michael Jackson in a lot of ways, because when you went to the movies, you wanted to look like them, you wanted to have their haircut like them, you wanted to have, amazing stuff. Now, in 2012, Entertainment Weekly titled The Breakfast Club is the best high school movie ever made. On VH1's list of the 100 greatest teen stars, Molly Ringwald was number 1, Lowe was second, Monica Hall was ranked number 4, Ali Sheedy was 34, and Andrew McCarthy was ranked top 40. Now, in 2020, Estevez expressed frustration at the persistence of the Brat Pack name, saying that that term will be on my tombstone. It's annoying because Brad Pitt, George Clooney, Matt Damon have worked together more than any of us have. We just made 2 movies and somehow it morphed into something else. But you tell me a person of the 1980s that doesn't know what a Brat Pack is. You can't hire that. Now, beyond the 2 primary films, there is no generally accepted list of Brat Pack movies. While Bloom's article credits Taps as the first Brat Pack movie, the list of movies below represents the more traditional filmography, with each movie including at least 2 core members in the roles. So the first one, of course, was The Outsiders, which also had Tom Cruise, Swayze, Dillon, C. Thomas Howell, and William Smith was kind of a cousin of that, because he was also in Red Dawn, and Ralph Macchio. Class, again, had John Cusack and Jamie Gertz. Oxford Blues, very underrated movie with Rob Lowe and Ali Sheedy. Breakfast Club, St. Elmo's Fire. Pretty in Pink, Blue City with Nelson and Sheedy, which you can barely find on Nazi VHS, but streaming. About Last Night, this is the Demi Moore, Rob Lowe movie. Wisdom with Charlie Sheen and Demi Moore. And One Crazy Summer should be up there too. Fresh Horses with Ringwald and McCarthy, and Betsy's Wedding again with Ali Sheedy and Molly Ringwald. And you might as well say Marissa Tomei and all that. Now, other 1980s films, many with similar coming-of-age themes, that starred only one core Brad Pack actor, with one or more close contributors include Tex, 1982, with Estevez and Dillon, War Games with Sheedy and Broderick, Bad Boys with Sheedy and Penn, Repo Man with Estevez and Olivia Barash, No Small Affair with Moore and Cryer, Heaven Help Us with Andrew McCarthy and Mira Stewart Masterson, and the other Dillon brother I can never forget, never remember. Weird Science with Anthony Michael Hall and Robert Downey Jr. One Crazy Summer, just mentioned that. Youngblood with Keanu Reeves, he's kind of a cousin too as well. The Pickup Artist with Molly Ringwald and Robert Downey Jr. Less Than Zero with Andrew McCarthy, Jamie Gertz, Robert Downey Jr. and James Spader. Mannequin, Johnny B. Good, Young Guns 1 and 2. Kansas with McCarthy and Dillon. We're No Angels, the remake of the British classic with Demi Moore and Sean Penn. Young Guns 2 again, and Bad Influence with Lowe and Spader. Now, some films have been dubbed Brad Pack movies, despite having no stars from the core membership, including, Red Dawn with C. Thomas Howell, Jennifer Grey, Charlie Sheen, Harry Dean Stanton, Patrick Swayze, Leah Thompson, Ferris Bueller Day Off, and The Lost Boys with Kiefer Sutherland, Jamie, one of the Coreys, and Jason Patrick and Jamie Gertz in key roles. Now, many of the Brad Pack members have continued to act past the 1980s, including Ringwald, Lowe, Estevez, Sheedy, McCarthy, Hall, and Demi Moore with various jobs. Now, ladies and gentlemen, all I can say is that you got to understand, if you put all the movies together over a 10-year period from 82, you might as well say Megan Follows is in around that list too as well, and My Bodyguard, Christopher Makepeace. There's different people. You can go endless and go on. But when it comes down to it, we were fortunate back in the day to see all these great actors. So I think that's why I think the ratings for the Golden Globes, the other awards, are going up, because Robert Downey Jr. and the popularity of the Avengers, that's the same people that watched Robert Downey Jr. fall off the horse in the 80s and 90s, who got back on it in the 2010s. So it is what it is. But what I find strange about this, ladies and gentlemen, Molly Ringwald was I think the one that was supposed to have the most future success, and she didn't have it. And I think when she jumped the shark when she appeared naked in one of her movies. Most of the Brad Pack have not appeared naked, to my understanding, in most of their movies. So that's something that's, it's a PG-13 type thing. But without them, no Dawson's Creek, no OC, no Buffy, no Veronica Mars. This is that's the grandchildren of the Brat Pack. So the Brat Pack itself, like I said, if you didn't live through it, you don't know what it's like. Because you don't have that in 2024. We knew every fucking member of the Brat Pack, and all the cousins. There was 50 people. And, there was Tree Pens, actually, the singer as well. He could be considered a cousin. And and the videos were great, and the movies were great. I mean, Gremlins, our lady from Gremlins too as well, our female actress. My brain is taking a break in the fried here. And Molly Ringwald's co-star from that Suicide movie that she was in, very, very interesting. They all came along at the same time, but I think the key was Molly Ringwald in those two movies, and expanded from there. Like, one person told me to my face once, "Oh, I saw Molly Ringwald in St. Elmo's Fire." I said, "I'll bet you $5,000 she's not in the movie." And he said, "Well, put your money where her mouth is." And I showed my MasterCard and I put it on the table and I said, "I bet you $5,000. She wouldn't take it up. Anybody who thinks that Molly Ringwald is in St. Elmo's Fire is smoking crack. Mayor Winningham don't look like Molly Ringwald. She doesn't even look like Emilio Estevez or Andy McDowell. Andy McDowell talks like this. I ate fudge, yuck. That's not Molly Ringwald. So, ladies and gentlemen, that's our latest movie history column. If you like what you're doing here, give us a like, comment, subscribe, or share. And as we say tonight, it's the Taylor Swift fix in. Ask the Baltimore Ravens. Thanks for listening. Bye.